Hi, this is Joe Green, head pastor of Church located in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, also the founder of the 2019 movement. I want to share a couple of thoughts with you. One of the things that I've been seeing a lot, whether it's professional sports or celebrity endorsements or all those type of things. And we have to understand that these are things that have been used or is being used in order to sway public opinion. They're called social engineering cues. And so, just to take a little bit back, the study of psychology as it pertains to the Western world, really in the 16, 17, and 1800s, was perfected in Germany. So they began to study the human brain, and they used some of the wisdom, some of the teachings from the ancient cultures, whether it's the Greeks, the Egyptians, and some of the ancient cultures. And so what they did was they start to study how people think, how the human brain works, and they began to implement a lot of that in order to sway public opinion. And so when you have leaders or people that are in power, people that are in authority, the ruling elite, if you will, there was times where they had bloody revolutions, and they just really had tyrannical rules, and they just oppressed the people. But the revolution, the population of the world started to grow exponentially. And so they realized that it was more difficult to try to use force to keep people in line. So they started to develop strategies in order to be able to sway public opinion, right? Get the people to agree upon the thing that they wanted to promote. There's a thing, if you get a chance to look up hegemony, that talks about the ideology that these ruling elite people believe that the masses want to be ruled over, that there's certain people that should be ruling over other people. And so they began to come up with strategies on how to get that done. So, of course, you guys are familiar with Germany, psychology. You had some of these great psychologists, whether it's Sigmund Freud or Carl Jung or some of these other psychologists that are very popular in our modern culture, right? So they began to develop strategies of social engineering. How do they get the people to go along with the type of narratives that they wanted them to go along with? And so things like propaganda, right? Propaganda was perfected in Germany and around the time of World War II. You had what's called you had political correctness or critical theory. Critical theory was something that they began to, in order to sway public opinion, they began to tear down certain institutions that kept them from controlling the masses. Now, all these are tools of the globalists, the ruling elite, in order to sway public opinion. And so you have to know, fast forwarded to 2020, 90% of media is owned by 6 globalist corporations. And so because of that, most of the media that you see is coming from the same sources. And with the implementation of things like CNN and the other news networks, the newscasters become celebrities, because back in the days when you only had 3 networks, the newscasts were relatively short, probably 15, 30 minutes, right? And that's all the news you got, or the newspaper or something like that. In the newspaper, of course, you read it for yourself and you draw your own conclusions. But with the implementation of a 24-hour news cycle, the newscasters become celebrities now, and news becomes entertainment. But it's owned and operated by 6 major corporations. And so most of the news you get are coming from this perspective that the globalists are promoting and pushing. Another thing that they created was this idea of celebrity endorsements or popular people. So right now they're using professional athletes a lot in order to promote narratives. And even though, if you think about from a cultural perspective, a person who's very good at basketball or football or something like that shouldn't necessarily be the person that's helping to promote public opinion, right? I'm not saying that they don't have an opinion that they have the right to express, but they shouldn't be the opinion shapers of the society. It should be the ones who are educators, who are, people that do study and do research, historians, or those type of people, as opposed to celebrities. And so now we have this whole idea that celebrities are the one that's helping to drive public opinion in a certain way, a certain area. And this is all intentional. This is all created. This is not something that's just happened by happenstance. There's a reason why major corporations pay millions of dollars to celebrities to promote their products, right? Whether it's Nike, LeBron James or Michael Jordan back in the day, or whoever it is, these Celebrities are paid millions of dollars because they understand that how they've created the cult of personality, that people begin to look to these people to tell them what's real and what's not real, what they should buy, what they should drink, what they should wear. And because of that, they're being used greatly in order to sway public opinions. But you have to be very careful, because most of these are narratives that are being promoted. There's a lot of times agenda behind it. And so in order for you to properly discern what's going on, you have to look beyond that. When you get a chance, you can look up things like the Tavistock Institute, the Frankfurt School. These are things that they think tanks that they began to develop strategies and how to sway public opinion. And the study of psychology was very instrumental in that. And so, again, these are things that you should be aware of, to understand that they're not happening organically. It's not just that all of a sudden, they put a mic in front of someone and they express their opinion. Most of the time, this has all been orchestrated, and these people have to promote a certain narrative, especially in Hollywood. Some of the celebrities will tell you that they have to promote the narrative that they're given, and if they don't, then they could get blackballed, and they won't be able to even get a job, right? And sports is not quite as much, but if you want to get it's not quite as much because, in sports, you're pretty much, it's more of a meritocracy, which means if you're a great athlete, then you'll get picked up by a team. But also understanding celebrity endorsements and those type of things be relevant. A lot of these people are going to promote the ideas or repeat the narratives that they're given. And a lot of their opinions are not, or they're either not well informed, or they have been given. They've been told to say these things. That's why in these certain realms, whether it's athletics or Hollywood or the music industry, pretty much they all say the same thing. They all promote the same ideas. And the reason that this really came to mind is because I was listening to someone describing, they were talking about Kanye West recently. And so Kanye West has come out as very much pro-life. There was a time when he was speaking, and he said how him and his wife fell out because, she was, they were talking about getting an abortion, and she was like, no, she's pro-life. She doesn't believe in that. And there was such a public outcry trying to make it seem like they were bad people because they're now espousing their opinion that they're pro-life. And this is all kind of like I'm talking about. This is that whole groupthink mentality, the social engineering, that now they're promoting the idea that if you're pro-life, that you hate women and you don't know, you're as a matter of fact, I heard one of the DJs describe it as him as a lunatic because he's pro-life, he's right wing, and they said he's a Christian, he's espousing Christian values, and because of that, he called him an idiot. And so these things are happening because it is a way to sway public opinion in a way that promotes a certain narrative. Now, I say all this to say, especially as a pastor, as a Christian, someone who follows the Bible, that the society as a whole, popular, this narrative, this social engineering that's occurring is becoming progressively anti-God, anti-Christ. And so all the things that the Bible says is right, they'll say is wrong. So if you believe that, marriage is between a man and a woman, they'll say you're homophobic. If you don't believe that, little kids should be able to pick their gender, they'll say you're transphobic. These are all intentional cues, and they're going to use more and more celebrities and popular people in order to present the narrative that everybody believes this. That's what popular culture is. Popular culture was actually created to give you the impression that everybody else thinks this way. But the narrative that's being promoted is one that they're actually shaping your public opinion as they're giving you these things. Even celebrity, like social media. So what they do is they'll bring up a star, they'll give him a Twitter or Instagram. They give him like 100,000 followers right off the bat. And so now everybody starts to say, this person must be talented. This person must be smart. This person must know what they're talking about because look how many followers they have. And so all these things are forms of social engineering that actually, instead of you believing that everybody else thinks that way, they're actually shaping the way that you think. This has been Joe Green, head pastor of St. Paul Missionary Baptist Church, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, founder of the 2019 movement. Until next time, and I would say to you, keep your eyes open. Know, as the Bible says, know the devices of the enemy so that he does not gain the advantage of you. Peace and blessings. Have a good evening.